All right, today we've got a stock on the examination table. The patient's name is YDKG, and well, it's just been rushed into the emergency room after a pretty catastrophic event. So we're going to perform a full technical diagnosis, see what's really going on under the hood. Let's get started.
It wasn't that long ago that this patient was the picture of health. It was trading at a really robust $6.69. That was its 52-week high, a sign of peak performance, strong market confidence. Everything was looking great.
And then there's this. This is the patient today, a jaw-dropping collapse to just under 6 cents. This is the number that sounded the alarm bells, and it paints a really, really grim picture of the stock's current health.
So what on earth happened here? We're going to look right past the initial shock and dive into the charts, the indicators, the raw data. We're going to be the doctors here and diagnose YDKG's true condition.
Okay, so first things first. Let's get the patient's basic information. We'll start with a quick initial examination, just to assess its overall condition and see if there are any immediate red flags.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, our first big puzzle. Despite this massive price crash, YDKG has a technical score of 75 out of 100. That's actually considered strong. I mean, think about it. It's like a patient who's just been in a terrible accident, but somehow their pulse is surprisingly steady. We need to figure out why.
And this right here, this just shows you how dire the situation really is. The stock is trading at only 0.151% of its total range for the year. It is clinging for dear life to the absolute bottom. All right, let's move on to the next part of our examination. It's time to check the vital signs. We're going to check the stock's pulse by looking at its trading volume and its blood pressure using money flow.
Whoa, okay, so this is the patient's pulse, and it is racing. The relative volume is over 21 times its normal activity. This is basically the market equivalent of a dangerously high fever. It's a sign of immense stress and just frantic, unusual activity.
And it's not just a high fever, it's spiking fast. The volume growth rate is over 700%. That means the frantic activity is accelerating, and it's accelerating rapidly. In a falling market, a number like this usually points to one thing: pure panic.
Okay, next up, blood pressure. In the stock world, we measure this with something called the Money Flow Index, or MFI for short. It's simple, really. It tells us if money is flowing into the stock, that's buying, or flowing out, which is selling. Anything below 20 is a major red flag.
And wow, YDKG's MFI is at a critically low 7.31. This shows extreme, just overwhelming selling pressure. To stick with our analogy, this is the data equivalent of severe internal bleeding. Capital is just gushing out of this stock.
Okay, so the basic vitals are looking pretty grim, right? That means we need to dig deeper. It's time to move on to the advanced scans, the MRIs and the CT scans of the technical world, to get a much clearer picture of what's happening internally.
So, the first scan we're running is the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. You can basically think of this as an exhaustion meter. It measures how fast and how much prices have changed. See, when a stock falls too fast for too long, it gets oversold, and a score below 30 is a classic sign of that condition.
And the results are in. Our patient's RSI is sitting at 20.41. So the scan confirms it. This stock is in a state of deep, deep exhaustion. The selling has just been so relentless that the stock might not have much momentum left to fall. Now, sometimes that can be a sign of a potential reversal, but it's a big if.
And it's not just one scan telling us this. YDG is also trading way, way below its lower Bollinger Band. That's another crystal clear signal of an extreme and frankly unsustainable condition. It's like a patient whose test readings are completely off the normal charts.
So what's really going on inside? Who's in control here? The buyers or the sellers? Well, this scan makes it painfully clear. Selling pressure at almost 40 is just crushing the buying pressure, which is barely over 11. This isn't a battle, it's a massacre. The sellers have total and complete control.
And honestly, pretty much every other scan we run is telling us the exact same story. The MACD, it shows strong downward momentum. The Arun indicator, it's maxed out at 100 for a downtrend. All the tests are pointing to the exact same conclusion. This is a powerful, confirmed downtrend.
All right. We've run the tests, we've analyzed all the scans. Now it's time to sit down and talk about the final prognosis. What does the future actually hold for our patient? So let's look at the key levels we need to be watching. The current price is sitting below the daily pivot point. That's a key level traders watch to get a feel for the short-term trend. Being below it, that's a bearish sign. More importantly, look where it's sitting. Much closer to its next support level, which is a potential floor, than it is to any real resistance.
So really, it all boils down to two potential paths from here. The bullish case is that because the stock is so extremely oversold, it could have what's called a dead cat bounce. It's a morbid name, but the idea is that even a dead cat will bounce if it falls from a great enough height. It means a brief, maybe reflexive recovery. For that to happen, we need to see it break above that 7.8-cent resistance level. The bearish case is much simpler. The powerful downtrend just keeps going, and it breaks below that 4.1-cent support level.
So what's the final word from the experts who analyzed this? Well, it's a pretty stark warning. Given the extreme readings we've seen on the MFI, the RSI, the Bollinger Bands, this is not a stable patient. This is a high-risk, high-volatility situation, and it's really only suitable for the most experienced traders out there, people who can truly handle the massive potential for loss. So, that's our diagnosis. The patient is in critical condition. It's showing signs of extreme trauma, widespread panic, and complete exhaustion across almost every single metric we've looked at. The question that remains is this the final death rattle? Or, from these incredible depths, is an incredibly high-stakes recovery even possible? The data gives us the diagnosis, but only time will tell the final outcome.